Now, while we're doing this, we might as well go the whole way. Catholic sports, this is from Crooks, talking about the Catholic pulse. It's a very good source. Catholic sports is not just about wins, but it's for the common good. So sport is for the common good. Okay, what does that mean? Practically speaking, this approach led to the development of religious cultures in medieval Europe in which games and sport were engaged in common good. Okay, what does that mean? Practically speaking, this approach led to the development of religious cultures in medieval Europe in which games and sport were engaged in on feast days and Sundays. And their incorporation in the schools of the humanists and early Jesuits during the Renaissance. All right, so this mode of thinking today is carried forward in the world by whom? Tell me the school system or the university system that is not involved in sports. Because they're all on the Jesuit model of learning against learning. So sports is an integral part. What day is the great sports day or the great sport days? Saturdays and Sundays. This heritage influenced Catholic schools in the United States, which incorporated time and space for young people to play games and sport from the start in the mid-19th century. The theological underpinning for the acceptance of play and sport had to do with the understanding of the material world as good. Just run that by me again. In order to do these things like sport, you have to understand that we are really what? Good. This world is good. And what does the Bible say about this world? It's wicked. The love of this world is what? Enmity towards God. So you can see it's a totally different mindset. You're on another planet here. And this sport becomes part of the common good. If you look at all the great sports teams, well, most of them are owned by Knights of Malta. They're all Catholic owned. And if you look at the World Cup and all of those issues, well, they are founded on Roman Catholic principles. It was Jules Rimet, the Frenchman, who gave his name to the statuette that Bobby Moore rather shyly held aloft as he was carried in his teammates' shoulders in Wembley's sunshine all those years ago. So this is the World Cup. It is a Roman Catholic invention. As a devout Catholic, the rerum novarum issue, in other words, equalizing the playing field, taking from the rich and giving to the poor, making everyone on the same level. And for that, you have to create the chaos. You have to create so much hatred against the rich. Exactly the same situation that you had in the French Revolution, right? And the spirit of prophecy says that what happened in the French Revolution will be repeated on a global scale. So here we have it. And how do you keep these masses happy? You give them sport. He already said he's not going to distribute them so that you are well off after this distribution. It's just there's nobody that's rich anymore to get angry with. But the little that you have, will you please pay it when you go to the sports stadium to go berserk so that you can empty your pocket once more to make these people even more rich, while you are now not alone living in poverty, but those that were rich are also now in poverty and can't even employ you because they don't have any money anymore. So we are all level on the playing field. This is communist social justice thinking. It has been developed in the think tanks of Jesuitical thinking. Spirit of prophecy. There is such a thing as leaning heavily on men and lightly on God. Those in charge of our schools should put into active service every talent possessed by the students that can be used for the help of the school. When this is done, as it should be, it will be found that students will not hanker for football, tennis, and other amusements. What the students need to be taught is how to make themselves as useful as possible wherever they may be placed. They should learn how to adapt themselves to the work in hand. Christ said, I pray not that thou shouldst take them out of the world, but that thou shouldst keep them from evil. In the night season, I was witness to the performance that was carried on at the school grounds, talking about one of our schools. The students who engaged in the grotesque mimicry that was seen acted out the mind of the enemy. Some were in a very unbecoming manner. A view of the things was presented before me in which the students were playing games of tennis and cricket. Then I was given instruction regarding the character of these amusements. They were presented to me as a species of idolatry. Like idols of the nations, there were more than visible spectators on the ground. Satan and his angels were there, making impressions on human minds. Angels of God who ministered to those who shall be heirs of salvation were also present, not to approve, but to disapprove. They were shamed that such an exhibition should be given by the professed children of God. The forces of the enemy gave the decided victory, and God was dishonored. He who gave his life to refine, ennoble, and sanctify human beings was grieved at the performance. Cricket? Baseball? Is this real? Some of the most popular amusements, such as football and boxing, have become schools of brutality. In this month alone, 2 boxers have died as a result of this brutality. They are developing the same characteristics that did the games of the ancient Romans. The love of domination, the pride, the mere brute force, the reckless disregard of life are exerting upon the youth a power to demoralize that is appalling. Other athletic games, though not as brutalizing, are scarcely less objectionable because of the excess to which they are carried. They stimulate the love of pleasure and excitement, thus fostering a distaste for useful labor, a disposition to shun practical duties and responsibilities. They tend to destroy a relish for life's sober realities and its tranquil enjoyments. Thus the door is open to dissipation and lawlessness with their terrible results. Whatever is done under the sanctified stimulus of Christian obligation, because you are stewards in trust of talents to use to be blessing to yourselves and others, give you substantial satisfaction for all that is done to the glory of God. I cannot find an instance in the life of Christ where he devoted time to play and amusement. Show it to us. Is it anywhere in the Bible? Now, I want you to put yourself now in the shoes of those that really believe this. You'll be very popular in the world, won't you? Will you? No. You're a stick in the mud. That's what you are. And they will hate you. They will hate you. For this reason alone. Because this whole mindset is based on Greek and Roman philosophy. Catechism of the Catholic Church. Participation in social life. Authority. Would you like to know the source? Vatican.va, the official source of the Vatican. Every human community needs an authority to govern it. How stupid were we to ask for a king? We got one. The foundation of such authority lies in human nature. This is fascinating stuff. Common good presupposes respect for the person as such in the name of the common good. You may only respect the person in the name of the common good. In particular, the common good resides in the conditions for the exercise of the natural freedoms indispensable for the development of human vocation, such as the right to act according to a sound norm of conscience and to safeguard privacy and rightful freedom also in the matters of religion. Let me read that again. Freedoms indispensable for the development of the human vocation, such as the right to act according to the sound norm of conscience. Who defines the sound norm of conscience? Not God. Greek philosophy and Roman power. But it should be made accessible to each what is needed to lead a truly human life. There we have it again. It appears over and over again, to lead a truly human life. The common good requires peace. Do you get it? Do we have peace at the moment? No. Are you being driven almost insane by the chaos? So what do we need? Common good. That'll solve it. That is the stability and security of a just order. It presupposes that authority should ensure by morally acceptable means the security of society and its members. A common good which permits it to be recognized as such, it is in the political community that its most complete realization is found. It is the role of the state to defend, promote the common good of civil society, its citizens, and intermediate bodies. And there must be a what kind of common good? A universal common good. This is global. Every nation, tribe, people, how many will worship the beast? All will worship the beast. Is the turmoil only in the United States and America? Is the turmoil only in South Africa? Is it only in Europe? Is it only in France? Is it only in Germany? Is it only in Ukraine? Is it only in China? Is it only in Japan? Is it only in Korea? Where is it? Is it only in Afghanistan? Is it only in Pakistan? Is it only... I can go on and on. Isn't it everywhere chaotic? So don't we need a global common good to end this senseless nonsense? So it is necessary that all participate, each according to his position and role in promoting the common good. All of us. As with any ethical obligation, the participation of all in realizing the common goods calls for a continually renewed conversion of the social partners. Everybody. Nobody is going to get past this one. Nobody. The political community and the public authority are based on human nature. Thank you for defining that for me. What is good is based on human nature. Who said that in Genesis? Who decides what is good for you? You will be able to say what is good and what is evil. It resides in human nature, not in God. This is dragon religion, and they worship the dragon. That's what the Bible says. They worship the beast by obeying him, and by obeying the beast, they are obeying the whom? The dragon. They're worshiping Satan. The Vatican is an organization that worships Satan. I know it sounds harsh, but the reality is that that is what the Bible is saying. The diversity of political regimes is legitimate, provided they contribute to the good of the community. Everything, even the state, must be subject to the common good. Now let's ask this gentleman from the Jesuits what he thinks about these things. Well, he writes in Introducing Theologies of Religion, for Jesus, the Spirit-filled prophet, excuse me, Mr. Jesuit, you call yourself the Society of Jesus, and you write for Jesus, the Spirit-filled prophet, the focus of his life and relationships was the reign of God. That meant that he was not, as his followers have often been, church-centered. Did you know that? He was not church-centered. On this rock I will build my social society. He was not church-centered. His primary concern was not to increase membership of his own movement or community. Rather, it was to transform people's hearts so as to transform their society. This tells you exactly how they think. It is the most horrendous quote from the pen of a Jesuit. Social justice stands above God. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And please note that in that statement is that you will not proselytize. You will not. You will not try and convince someone that they're in the wrong religion and they need to come out of her, my people. You won't do it. It's hidden right in there. Primary concern was not to increase membership. That means you will not try to tell anyone that they should accept Jesus Christ as their personal Savior. That's the crux of the problem. Christian dualism has so exaggerated the difference between God and the world that it cannot really show how the two form a unity. I thought love of the world was enmity with God. Now he's saying God is love of the world. True, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, but for a reason that whosoever should believe in him should not perish but have eternal life. Totally written out of the Constitution. Ye adulterers, this is what I thought, ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. These people are the enemies of God. They've just defined themselves as such. And Paul Netter goes on to explain to us what the common good is. Can a person be saved that is to come to live a truly human life? Well, if that's the definition of salvation, to live a truly human life, where everybody is on the same level, and the only enjoyment you can have is to watch one ball being kicked into a net, and you have to pay for it, then really they can keep it. Because I am looking for a better world than this, really. It's pathetic. I must be very careful with my words. Is that the definition of to be saved? To live a truly human life? No, it's not the definition to be saved. It's an evil definition. Now, let's see what the common good must entail for our time in which we live. Laudato Si, you all know it, we all know it. Praise be to you, my Lord. In the words of this beautiful canticle, St. Francis of Assisi reminds us that our common home is like a sister with whom we share our life and a beautiful mother who opens her arms to embrace us. Praise be to you, my Lord, through our sister, Mother Earth, who sustains and governs us. What is that? What is that? That is, it gets worse. International negotiations cannot make significant progress due to the positions taken by countries which place their national interests above the global common good. Here we go. This is Laudato Si. This is not some strange document. Now let's read this one. Sacramental signs on the celebration of rest. Article 233 in this encyclical. The universe unfolds in God, who fills it completely. Hence there is a mystical meaning to be found in a leaf, in a mountain trail, in a dewdrop, and in a poor person's face. What is that? That's pantheism. Let's call it panentheism. This is panentheism. Out of the pen of the Pope. We spoke about it this week. This is panentheism, and it is satanic. The ideal is not to pass from the exterior to the interior to discover the action of God in the soul, but also discover God in all things, in case you didn't get it. We serve a personal God. We do not serve this God who defines what the common good is based on the language of Lucifer and not the language of God. On Sunday, our participation in the Eucharist has a special importance. Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, is meant to be a day which heals our relationship with God, with ourselves, with others, and with the world. Sunday is the day of the resurrection, the first day of the new creation, whose first fruits are the Lord's risen humanity the pledge of the final transfiguration of all created reality. Excuse me? It also proclaims man eternal rest in God. So he wants Sunday to be part of this common good. And so the day of rest centered on the Eucharist sheds its light on the whole week and motivates us to greater concern for nature and the poor. He doesn't care two hoots about the poor because he just said they're going to remain poor. There's just going to be a redistribution of wealth, not to make them wealthy, but to make them that take the wealth wealthy, and then to keep you happy, make you pay to go and watch football. Mary, the mother who cared for Jesus, now cares for maternal affection and pain for this wounded world. Carried up into heaven, she is the mother and queen of all creation. This is so, let me not say it. No Christian should ever embrace this without incurring the wrath of God. We've all just made fools of ourselves again. Maybe it's time to declare a national Sabbath, said the New York Times. Maybe it's time to step back from the skull-mongering and assess who we are right now. Spirit of prophecy. I can breathe again. All Christendom will be divided into two classes. Those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus, and those who worship the beast and his image and receive his mark. As the Sabbath has become a special point of controversy throughout Christendom, and religious and secular authorities have combined to enforce the observance of Sunday, the persistent refusal of a small minority to yield to the popular demand will make them the object of universal execration. That's a very strong word. You cannot get stronger than that. Add to that your position on sport and think how the masses will love you. This is not a popularity contest. We're up against the wall. There is no uglier word than sin. This is me writing. And all created beings have suffered because of it, but the God of the universe has suffered the most. The basis of sin lies in pride, discontent, selfishness, and covetousness. It leads to lies and murder. The man of sin has multiplied sin under a cloak of righteousness. He has driven through his economic systems that he controls, the man of sin, to this great divide between rich and poor, so that he can saw them all off and get his common good and get what the worship that he wants universally. That's what he's done. And the hatred that he brings up and conjures up in humanity, where they become brute beasts and want to execute anyone who doesn't think like them. You are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father you will do. He was a liar from the beginning. From within, out of the hearts of men proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, theft, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile a man. Pope Francis encourages teen climate activist Greta Thunberg to continue her fight. Well, if you want to succeed, enroll the youth. Why not? So she comes to the youth. There she is with the Pope. Pope Francis met teenage climate activist Greta Thunberg following his weekly audience at the Vatican. The Swedish 16-year-old held a sign that read, "Join the climate strike. Tell students to stop learning." You did not act in time. Greta Thunberg's full speech to the MPs, The Guardian. The speech by 15-year-old climate activist Greta Thunberg, everyone should listen to. Should we? Should we? Well, let's have a look a little further. What's that? What's that? What does that mean? What is that the symbol of, and who is it the symbol of? Of the New Age Antichrist? Is that the symbol? Why would she pose like that unless she's been asked to pose like that? She's being used as a little dupe. At least when young people start standing up and talking to God, it's under the unction of God and not someone manipulating them into thinking that way. Greta Thunberg to sail the Atlantic for climate conference. We'll be sailing across the Atlantic Ocean from the UK to New York in mid-August. Why? Because we don't want to have carbon emission. So we'll be sailing. Well, she better watch out for that spray while she's sailing. She could get wet behind the ears. It's just a possibility, isn't it? And this carbon thing. Do you know that there are two scientific criteria out there? The one that is being peddled by the West and the one that is maintained by the Russians and the others. And the one says that carbon has increased dramatically over the last decades. And the other one says if it has increased, then at a maximum of 0.1%. Which one do you want to believe? And why do some of the top climate experts say that only the Russian one is the one that is accurate? You can go and check it out. I'm not going to give a lecture on climate. But really, if you're worried about carbon, the ocean is the biggest carbon sink on the planet. And if you don't believe that the ocean can absorb carbon, then look at the Carboniferous, where you have the White Cliffs of Dover and all of that was absorbed into the ocean. The ocean will sink any excess carbon rise. And if you still don't want to believe it, then why are we so ignorant? Why don't we follow the Ethiopians? They at least had the brains to plant more than 1 million trees in a day. What are they going to do? Put a carbon monitor on your mouth to determine how much tax you must pay every day? Well, you might as well put a plastic bag over your mouth and die. Because the carbon dioxide that you breathe out is the food that the plant needs to give you the oxygen that you require. God has designed it like that. And these people, in my opinion, are lying to you. It's probably a hate crime to say that. I don't know. Maybe they've gone that far. You're not allowed to deny climate change. This is amazing. Parliament of World Religions, Hanley Foundation, the 10 Commandments of Laudato Si. This is the Parliament of World Religions talking about the 10 Commandments of the papal encyclical and how they must be enforced. And these are the speakers. Cambridge scholars, 2007, the 10 Green Commandments of Laudato Si. Father so-and-so. It's either Catholics or it's this professor who is a Jewish rabbi or this one who comes from the Islamic world or whatever. If Pope Francis is right when he insists that the solution to our environmental problems cannot be found only in technocratic approaches by governments and institutions, but by a wide and thoughtful embrace by all of our common responsibility, then Father so-and-so's book is precisely what we need at this time. Thank you, I've read enough of their books. I've got a better one, it's called the Bible. And there are the 10 Commandments. Spiritual perspective is now part of the discussion on the environment. That's an interesting one to start off with, isn't it? The poor are disproportionately affected by climate change. If you can explain that one to me, I'll be very happy. How are the poor disproportionately affected by climate change? Aren't we all in the same boat? Well, then the Pope must be worst affected because he's the richest man on the planet. Less is more. Their philosophy never ceases to amaze me. Catholic social teaching now includes teaching on the environment. Discussions about ecology can be grounded in the Bible and church tradition. I'm glad they think so. Everything is connected, including the economy. Scientific research on the environment is to be praised and used. Widespread indifference and selfishness worsen environmental problems. Global dialogue and solidarity are needed. The change of heart is required. Oh, well, thank you very much. Now, this is fascinating. This is Pope Francis. God is young. And this is what he writes. Climate change is increasingly alarming. In your opinion, they're asking the Pope, do young people recognize the urgency of the matter? Are young people today more likely to protect the ecosystem than previous generations? This is a subject that is very close to my heart, says the Pope, because only by protecting the ecosystem can we protect our children, our grandchildren, and every future generation. Consequently, caring for the environment, listen carefully, should be written in red ink and highlighted on the first page of every political agenda. Should be written in red ink. What is written in red ink in your Bible? So who's telling them what to do? Every political agenda? The Pope. He's saying that. And whereas my Bible says, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every nation, tribe, and kingdom. Not climate change. It doesn't tell that. Doesn't say that at all. So at the last G20, who was present? Well, they had all the great keynote speakers. Look at the bishops, the archbishops, and the world leaders that were speaking there. And besides the keynote speakers, representatives from, I have to say this, all the major religions, ecumenical bodies, and the sporting world were associated at this meeting. So at the last G20, all the religious bodies, all of them, and the sporting bodies. Are we getting a plan together here? The G20 Interfaith Forum is a platform for raising the level and effectiveness of religious inputs and providing a sharp focus on values and global political issues, bringing together global leaders and experts from religion, civil society, governments, academia, and of course, all of these issues that they want to talk about, aging societies and care for the earth, etc. Parliament of World Religions gives us a summary of what happened, the messages from Pope Francis and His Holiness Bartholomew, commit to working for peace and collaboration with faith actors, focus sharply and explicitly on the needs of children. Sounds all very good. Bolster actions to strengthen the rule of law and initiate and commit to global and national message to combat trafficking, and climate change is very high on the agenda. Here's another interesting one. CBN News. This is, look at the date, 2019. Government restrictions on religion increasing worldwide. Oh, where? Government restrictions on religions have increased markedly in many places around the world, not only in authoritarian countries, but also in many European democracies.